The movie begins in a desert, where we see a man named Wyndham, who was a professional photographer. In fact, he had come to the desert to take good photos of the solar eclipse. By evening, he had clicked all the photos and was about to leave. However, after going a short distance, he sees a crying child. Then Wyndham asks him, "Why are you crying?" To which the child replies, "I am lost here." Hearing this, Wyndham tells the child to come with him, but the child, going in the other direction, says, "My parents will meet me somewhere over there." Then Wyndham, unwillingly, has to follow the child, and while trying to stop him, he says that there is no one in that direction, but the child does not stop. Then, while following him, they had gone quite deep into the desert. At that moment, Wyndham tries to forcibly stop the child, but the child still does not stop. And then he runs away after giving Wyndham a strange smile, which makes Wyndham realize that the child has deliberately led him here to trap him. Therefore, he starts to go back, but he does not know the way back, so he gets lost. And while walking, it also becomes dark. After that, Wyndham starts looking for a shelter to protect himself from the cold wind, and after going a little further, he sees a house where there is also a woman. However, the house was slightly below the mountain, and there was a staircase leading down to it. Now, Wyndham had no place to stay, so he descends the stairs and begins to enter the house. Upon entering, he sees the same woman, whose name is Alina. But Alina is a bit strange, because she does not react. Even after seeing Wyndham, she neither responds nor asks him anything. Then Wyndham, while introducing himself, says that he has lost his way and asks if he can stay here for the night. After hearing this, Alina still does not give him any answer. And after a while, she tells him to eat. Wyndham feels a bit strange upon hearing this, but he still sits down to eat, although he does not eat the food. After that, Alina gives him a room to sleep in. Then Wyndham sees Alina changing clothes and falls asleep again. The next day, Wyndham wakes up and goes back to the same ladder, but he sees that the ladder is not there, and the place where he is standing is surrounded by high rocks, making it impossible to get out without the ladder. Therefore, he goes to Alina, worried, and asks her where the ladder that was here yesterday is, to which Alina replies that they took it. After you arrived, they must have removed that staircase, to which he asks, who are those people? But this time, Alina does not respond and gets back to her work. After that, we see that Wyndham wanted to get out of here by any means, so he starts climbing up with the help of a climbing hammer. After climbing a little higher, he gets quite tired and stops to rest. During this time, he hears the laughter of some children from above, and suddenly a severed head of a goat falls down, causing Wyndham to slip and fall unconscious. When Wyndham regains consciousness at night, he sees that his climbing hammer is lodged inside his leg, causing him a lot of pain, and he starts screaming loudly. Hearing his cries, Alina comes there and removes the climbing hammer from his leg, taking him inside the house. In the morning, he asks Alina who is preventing him from leaving here, but Alina does not give him any answer again. After that, Wyndham sees a boy on a rock, and as soon as he sees him, he asks for help and tells him to bring a rope. The boy then tells Wyndham to wait there for a moment and goes to get the rope. Then, after a while, the boy comes back with the rope and throws it down, telling Wyndham to climb up using it. Then Wyndham tries to climb up by tying the rope around his waist, and Alina was watching all this from the window. But this time she remains silent as well. As Wyndham reaches halfway, he thinks that he will be saved now. But this is just his illusion. As soon as he reaches halfway, we see some children above, one of whom is Wyndham's. He urinates above, and the other children start shaking his rope vigorously. At that moment, Wandam asks Alina for help, and Alina comes over to tell the children to stop all this. But by then, Wandam crashes into a rock and loses consciousness. He begins to feel that he might never escape from here, and he thinks that perhaps they have trapped Alina in the same way. When they couldn't get out, he assumed that she must have accepted this place as her home. However, the surprising thing was that the children did not want to harm Wandam and Alina. Instead, they used to feed them every day. They just wouldn't let them leave. The next day, Wandam was trying to grow vegetables in the same barren place so that they would not run out of food while staying there. Just then, a child named Leps comes over the rock and asks Wandam something. "What are you doing?" To which Windham explains to him about growing vegetables. Then, the lepers ask Windham to teach him all this. Then, taking advantage of this situation, Windham tries to befriend the lepers and tells them that he can teach them whenever they want. Hearing this, the lepers throw a packet of chewing gum at him and leave. Then, in the same soil, Wine finds another ring and a car key, which makes him realize that many people have been here before. Later that night, Windham starts drinking heavily, and Alina tries to stop him, but Windham scolds her. After that, Alina removes all her clothes, and seeing this, Windham cannot control himself, and they both become intimate right there. The next day, when Windham comes to his garden, the lepers arrive and ask him to teach them. He says that he won't be able to teach you anything from this far away, but if you get me out of here, I will teach you whatever you want. To this, Laps, in fear, tells Windham that he won't be able to get him out with all of them around, but when they are not there, he will try to get him out. Alina was also listening to all this. Meanwhile, another child arrives, who overhears their conversation, causing him to angrily take Laps away from there. Now, while having dinner at night, Alina tells Windham that she is pregnant, which makes Windham very angry. He tells her that she is solely responsible because she was the one who led him on. In response, Alina says that it is both of their faults, which leaves Windham silent. The next morning, when Windham wakes up, he hears Alina crying and comes outside. Surprised to see this, it happens that Laps's dead body is hanging in the air, killed by the same children, because he wanted to help Windham. Meanwhile, Alina was crying out, calling my son, which reveals to us that Lopus was indeed Alina's son. But how this will be revealed to us later. After that, Alina angrily tells Windham that he is a murderer and that her son was killed because of him. After saying this, she hits him on the head with a stick, rendering him unconscious, and locks him in a cage for 9 months. Windham will have to stay in that cage until Alina gives birth to her child. During this time, Windham's condition becomes animal-like. Although Alina provides him with food and drink, she does not care much for him, even though he was the father of her child. One day, Windham sees a girl standing on a rock, so he tries to ask her for help. But then, the children come and kill that girl as well. After that, when Alina brings food to Windham, he asks her, "Why are you doing this to me? I am the father of your child. Either free me or kill me." To which Alina replies that you are just a means to fulfill our purpose. After which she leaves. Then, the next morning, she starts experiencing liver pain in her stomach, which leads her to free Windham and ask him for help. Then, after that, Alina has a daughter, and after seeing that lovely daughter, Windham thinks that he will stay here. But just then, the children come from behind and cut Windham's throat, resulting in his death. Then the children say to Alina, "Mother, we have done what you said." In fact, all these children were Alina's, and before Windham, Alina had physical relationships with many men, and had children with them. After some time, we see Alina taking care of her daughter, and she says that now my daughter will take my place. Then we see that Wyndham's body is still lying there, and with that